Training.tv. My name is Margaret. I'll be your broadcast engineer for today. Hope y'all are having a lovely day. Hello, 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 hello.
It is Friday after all, right?
It is Friday. Yes, it is Friday. End of the week.
Yay.
We have someone on today who we've not had on in many years. I think you were on the show like at the beginning of 2020, Mr. White?
That sounds about right.
But he has done a lot for the FileMaker community. He has written up some great articles. He's had many great presentations. He understands FileMaker in a really fun and interesting way, and he is here to talk about it, which is going to be pretty awesome. So,
Welcome to Tony White. Very excited to have him here. Tony is a person who has periodically over the years generated PDF documents that explain in excruciatingly gnarly detail certain features of the Claris FileMaker platform. It's materials that I highly recommend you look at and use. As years go on, sometimes they change a little bit, but largely the knowledge is really, really well done. And I'm hopefully today he will have the opportunity to outline kind of what he's been doing lately and also any PDFs that he has for us to go download. So I highly recommend it's a great resource of training materials. Margaret, for example, like I remember him doing one on URL protocol, right? Which is how you can call a FileMaker script via essentially kind of a web page kind of idea, right? Not with REST
yeah.
API, but you're yeah. So he did that in detail, and Claris has monkeyed with that over the years, including security changes and things like that. But I remember him doing that. And I'm like, man, this is like golden material. So one of
No.
those people that probably deserves a lifetime achievement award from Claris for his hard work. So with that, I'm going to let you run with this, Margaret.
Okay, cool. Uh, Again, Mr. White, it's a pleasure to have you on here. So, what are we talking about today? Why are we here? And as Richard likes to say, why do we give a shit? Which I'm sure you've heard many, many times.
That's always a good question. Why do I care?
Yes.
Well, first off, thanks for the invite, and hello to everybody out there. I'm going to share my screen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to very quickly, I have some new stuff. What I want to do is very quickly walk people through a little bit of the back catalog because it sets the context, does two things. One, it tells people why they might want to look at some of these previous presentations, and also it sets the context for the new stuff. I'm going to go quick through the stuff that's already out there because you could just watch it, not going to repeat. So that'll be quick. And the takeaway is, hey, go and look at these things because they're worth looking at. So on the infographics, let's see. I'm on the website. This is the second one, the one that Richard mentioned, the FMP URL protocol. That's the crowd pleaser. A little bit of an interesting story. Yeah, this got mentioned from the DevCon stage a couple times. And a little bit of an interesting story. When I started doing this, I was only doing it because it was like a new feature for that version. I think it was version 13. And I had no idea how incredibly useful it was going to be. So maybe there's a lesson in there. It's like, just dig into what they do, what FileMaker Claris ships. And, I'm doing this wax on, wax off. And for me, it's been very useful. And then other people have been, had nice things to say about it as they're studying for their, career or their certification test. So have a look at that. Here's what I call my personal favorite. This is, I won't say who, but someone looked at this and told me that it was freaking awesome. Not the exact language. I leave it to you to figure that. This was done in the era of FileMaker 14, and wow, this took like many hours, and it is very, very detailed, and I think it's very accurate. Nobody's come back. Got a email from one of the engineers over at Claris, said, I put it out there. And got a nice email like, can we use this to train our incoming engineers? I'm like, yeah, of course. And, I think that was great. I mean, that was courtesy. Of course you can. I think it was just in the way of a thank you. So that was nice.
That's awesome.
I would say study that. And if anyone's like a beginner or intermediate or even advanced, be prepared to spend some time because we put like, 20, 30 hours into it, some ridiculous amount of hours to get the level of detail. And it does lay the foundation for writing good code because it kind of lays out the tools. iBeacons, FileMaker 15, not as popular as the FMP Euro protocol. But that was, one of the big features. I'm still waiting
Oh,
for
I remember that for 15. Yeah.
I'm still waiting for my first iBeacons feature. That one is actually fun because we made up a little make-believe museum, and the paintings were the training material, the what do you call them, infographics that we'd done. We made a little museum. But let's keep going because we got some new stuff. 16 came card windows. So rather than go back to the FileMaker 14 and add it, we just did a new one, deep dive into the card windows. Worth looking at, I think. And then this was in the era, I think this was for the, I would do these to time to the it used to be called Developer Conference, currently called Engage. And I'd print, 200, 300 nice laser printer. And this was JSON overview. This is actually one of my favorites because we took the Monkey Bread, Base Elements plugin versions, and then the FileMaker 16, and we laid them side to side. And so that's useful. So those were the infographics. And then the world went virtual in 2020, as everyone knows. So we started to do presentations. I did a presentation for Dig FM. This is a nice 2-hour video. Actually, I'll bring this up because we did the presentation. Don't start audio. Okay, good. We made up a little what I call timestamp links. I used a FileMaker database to build these page. I'm not going to show. Well, I'm going to show some FileMaker code, not that, but this was all, code generated, web page generated code. And this was a 2-parter, deep dive into the infographic, just riffing off it, explaining. And then the second part was a classic theme. What does that mean? Converting classic themes to custom themes. We did it twice. Once we did it wrong. We did. And I think it kind of helps to say,
well, I mean, you learn a lot by watching people do things incorrectly, honestly, and then realizing they've done it incorrectly and doing it the right way, because often they'll make a mistake that you were going to make yourself.
Yeah, we had a lot of pain, and because we did it wrong, and it was really hard to convert from classic to custom. And then we figured something out.
Ooh.
And then we spent, once I'm going to say 20 hours again, and did a blog post, which is here. So anyone who's still on classic, which is less and less every day, if you want to go from classic to custom, we got it down to less than a minute per layout. Sometimes it's like 10 seconds per layout as opposed to an hour. So that's worth watching, I think.
Yeah.
And that got good reviews, and good. Then we did the Fun FileMaker Facts. This was the next year we did Fun FileMaker Facts. We had myself and my coding partner were organizing the New York FileMaker Pro newsletter and some of the presentations. So once a month we'd pick a topic, like a little bite size, and we'd make a fun FileMaker fact. Let me see, actually, I'll bring this up, see if it's got a picture of one. That's close to a picture of one. These are all the size of a iPhone, the size of a tweet, the size of a, that fits good in a MailChimp newsletter. We were doing a MailChimp, so every month we'd put a little image in. And we had that, we did 24. And then, this presentation, we're just riffing off of them, conversation. Third was we took some of the infographics that aren't on the sidebar. Because here's 5. We did one for DevCon. Those are kind of really get a lot of attention. We've got some others that are a little not as polished. I think I've probably got 100 of these, and you're going to see some more later. Yeah, they're coming up. I got some things that are really unpolished, but I also have some things that are good.
Still has good information, even if it's unpolished.
Yeah. So you're going to see kind of like what's in the laboratory, not ready, pre-shipping. So we did one on infographics. Uh, Presentation number 4, we did 2 sample files, which are available. Let's see, what are they? There's a text editor one, and I'll talk about that later because I got the infographic that was used to plan out that file. So what do you do? A text editor. We did a really, dare I say, awesome sorting script using a technique which I call black box. More on that later.
Ooh,
And
yes.
then we did one for FM disk, which I call it the LA group, but it's really kind of global. Like a lot of groups these days are global.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, I did a code gen, which is short for code generation file. I built a code gen file. And that's a deep kind of an advanced topic, or maybe intermediate advanced. And that's more on that later because that'll take us into the weeds. I did finally a presentation in terms of recorded New York FileMaker Pro, which is kind of my home group, if you will. I'm a New Yorker. I got one in here. Um, Ironically, I've done some of the better presentations are for the West Coast. Uh, okay, and so that's background. But you're like, what have you done lately?
About to say, like, what do you got cooking for us now? This is a cool background.
Okay, so thematically, and I'm going to jump around a little bit. Um, so thanks for the invite once again. And I went and I did a search on this particular computer. I'm going to be presenting off 2 different computers. I have quite a few computers for different purposes,
Mm-hmm.
and I got one living in a Faraday cage, and inside a skiff. But this one has got OmniGraffle on it, which is what I use to build the infographics. And I'm going to bounce between simple, intermediate, and advanced, something for everybody. We're going to come back on this one. Let me just pick something almost randomly. Let's see. Oh, this one's a good one. Okay. This is actually pretty polished. And by the way, I use the purpose of the infographics. I'll start with the altruistic portion. We do the infographics to make the world a better place. And I'm just kidding around, not the only reason. No, that's it. No, what else? It's because it does help me understand things.
Mm-hmm.
Like for any given topic, more than once, FMP Euro protocol. In the process of doing this on any given area, these like deep dives with a visual component, which is
Mm-hmm.
good for the human brain. I've heard people are visual. Seems to be the case. In doing this kind of stuff, you occasionally will come up with ideas. So more on that later. Here's a good example, I think, of privilege sets. One of the FileMaker code objects
Mm-hmm.
mentioned previously in that my favorite infographic is privilege set. And here's the dialog that shows the privilege set.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was to look at this dialog, it would show part of the privilege set, but not all. A little bit of screen captures you'll see over here. Oh, I should have turned on mouse possé. Oh well. Can you see my mouse moving?
I can see your mouse moving, yes.
Okay, good. Sorry, I don't have mouse possé. I should have turned it on. I have it on this computer, but whatever. So behind this pop-up, there's these choices.
Mm-hmm.
Behind this pop-up, these choices, these, and there's functions that let you read. And you know what? I'm not going to say that much more because I have so much to cover. Let's for now just say that this is a pretty darn comprehensive visualization of the privilege set, and that could lead to insights. And actually, I do have an insight for this.
Mm-hmm.
I am a huge fan of the feature that our friends over at Claris FileMaker shipped, which is the ability to copy and paste code objects.
Yes.
Yeah, and Margaret, I use the word code object, and you probably know what it means for your audience. To me, code object's a made-up term. When I was doing the code objects as EOD, I was looking at how do you build a FileMaker database, and how am I going to make a conceptual model of that?
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's like, okay, I'm using fields and script steps, and I could go on and on. There's about 20 to 30, or yeah, maybe 20, who knows,
Mm-hmm.
layout. And I just like, well, they're all code objects. And they also show up when FileMaker started to give us, or build into the platform, the ability to copy and paste. They gave us 5 code objects, scripts and script steps, which kind of go together as a pair. And they're
Mm-hmm.
different. There's scripts and the steps within,
Mm-hmm.
tables and the fields within, and then layout objects, not layouts, not yet,
Yes.
if you're listening, Claris. And then later on, I have this memorized because I live off these things. What was next? Custom functions in FileMaker 14. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Valueless in FileMaker 16. Thank you again. Custom menus in 17, which are interesting that they're text-based. And then there's some stuff with theme, but I think that's sort of a separate topic. On the roadmap, I would request, and I have requested, the ability to copy and paste layouts, and the ability to copy and paste privilege sets, and the ability to copy and paste like table currents on the relationship graph. I do know that this wouldn't necessarily be easy. It would have the amount of productivity that comes from the ability to copy and paste code objects is huge. Now, here's what I want to say about this before I put this away.
Mm-hmm.
It's this privilege set. You can make a privilege set that's 100% context free.
Okay, explain that because I.
Okay, good. Good question. The so I'll say it 2 ways. One, you can make a privilege set that's context free, and you can make a privilege set that requires context in the form of fields that it references. Like if you have a table,
Mm-hmm.
you might it's when you drill down into the custom privileges where,
Yes.
okay, there you go.
Okay.
Where you like, okay, they can see every single field except they can't see the social security number field.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, that kind of context, if you were to, so here's the feature request. Can we have the ability to copy and paste privilege sets? And the easy part for anyone, if that feature were implemented, would be the ones that have 0 context. So privilege sets are per file. They're just per file. Like a lot of the solutions that are out there, we build a lot of multi-file solutions.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot out there. So the truth of the matter is you have to put privilege sets into every single unique. Like if I have a privilege set that I like a power user or admin or read-only, I need to put that into, well, I often put that into every single file because it's useful to have sort of like some, I'll call them generic context tree. And that'll get me, most of the way there. I will have to, go to the personnel file, and I'll have to kind of like tweak it so I'm not showing the social security number or, other sensitive information. But the generic stuff would be great, and it would be a terrific starting point. So that completes my feature request. I'll be bookmarking this and sending it around later to our friends over there. Does that all make sense, Margaret, right?
Yes, it does. And I took me a second to process what you meaning, but like, yes, like full access, for example, even though it's automatic, that would be considered a context-free privilege set because it's not dependent upon any of the tables or
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, tables and fields.
Yes.
Yeah, tables and fields. That's your context.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so that's that. So I'm going to close these as I go,
Mm-hmm.
and then let's pick another one. Uh, maybe something simple, just for the heck of it. I mean, just to kind of palate cleanse for a second.
Mm-hmm. We can bounce
Uh,
back and forth.
yeah, let me find something simple. Do I have anything simple? I do. I know I do. Hold on, count faster, text editor, multi-monitor. Oh, here's
Record
one that I
locking?
don't know the answer to. I'll do that. I was trying to figure out the behavior of multi-monitor, and I haven't got that one figured out.
Ooh, that'll be really interesting when you complete it though, because I've wondered that myself. Because there's a couple times where I'll want like a window that's not there and I'll put it off to like negative whatever. And I'm like, if they have like 3 monitors down to the right, would that show up? I mean, that seems unlikely, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah, and haven't figured that one out, and it's out there. It's a big platform. There's a lot to cover. So, Margaret, you mentioned record locking,
Mm-hmm.
and this one's a little half-baked. It's not really it's incomplete. Um, Not ready for DevCon or Engage, but let's see what we got here. Um, we always try and start with a use case. I'll call it
Mm-hmm.
why do I care? There's other ways to phrase that. It's totally good. Like every presentation, in my opinion, like if I have a technical presentation,
Mm-hmm.
I should totally, I'm asking for people's time and attention, and I should, tell them why they should invest that time and attention in listening to
Mm-hmm.
the presentation. So let's see. I was looking at 26 of these. So and I'll try and go peppy because we could go back on this. But the use case, this is actually good. Record locking is terrific, especially terrific for transactional type data.
Mm-hmm.
Transactional for your audience is things like invoices, orders, checks. Uh, once an invoice is sent, it shouldn't be changed because it's already gone out.
Yes.
Maybe there's a change order later, but once it's sent out and once it's reconciled, same thing for a check. If you're generating your checks from FileMaker so you can
Yes.
and should, um, that should be locked. And maybe it's entirely locked or maybe it's partially locked. So record locking is a huge topic and it comes up a lot on community and other forums. And there's a method that I like. There's different methods. I like to lock records in such a way that even the full access person can't muck with it.
Ooh.
I'm not saying that people should run their databases with full access on, but I've seen it done. So you can do that. And let's see. All right, so the use case is to do it this way. This on the screen, people can go back and watch this. But I want to say something else about a method that's worked well for us and might work well for others. I think of when we write code for a feature. So I'll call
Mm-hmm.
locking a feature.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say feature, it's like we're taking, let's call it tools in the FileMaker platform,
Mm-hmm.
layout objects, script steps, functions, script triggers, whatever. And we're combining those tools into a feature. And the feature might be locking, or it might be a really nice sorting, or it might be a text editor, which I'm hoping to get to. That's actually one of my key presentations coming up. So the first thing we do is think of a good feature that we can build that'll have useful utility for our customers. I've been at this 30 years. We have, quite a few customers. And if we build something, maybe a text editor, we
Mm-hmm.
build it thinking that this will be useful for our customers, that it'll enhance their happiness with the FileMaker platform, We'll generate some additional revenue. They'll get additional benefit. Everybody wins. Claris will sell more licenses. People will stick with the platform.
Yes.
So we do try and come up with ideas, or even everybody does sorts, and we'll say like, okay, we want to do sorts. How do we want to do it?
Mm-hmm.
So there's use cases, goals, user interface. So first is like, what's a good feature? The second step in the process is what would make a really pleasing user interface.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see with the text editor that we built and made a demo file. That's step 2. Step 3 is what do we want that code to look like under the hood? Meaning, if you open up the scripts, what does the code look like? For the text editor, I got it right on the second try, which
Hey,
is,
that's pretty good.
I'll take first would be nice, but I don't think that's ever
Well,
happened.
but I bet say first never happens though. Second is the best.
Second is good. Um, and then we're like, hey, let's, because if we're going to deploy it more than once, we want it to have a certain level of quality. If it's a
Mm-hmm.
one-off, boom, we're done, we're moving on. But if it's going out multiple times, and then the fourth, so we've got 1, what is the user interface? 2, oh no, what's the feature? What's the user interface? What's the
Mm-hmm.
code look like under the hood? And then the fourth question is, how do we want to put the code into one or more customer system as smoothly and efficiently as we can? And that gets
Mm-hmm.
into the topic of code gen. We have a sample file on that, which we'll get to at some point soon, maybe. Anyway, let's just, I didn't look at this. Oh, this is actually some internal tooling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we used to have a commercial product, didn't sell a lot of copies. So we built some tools that work 99% of the time. Hard to sell a product that works 99% of the time, even if it's awesome, even if it's useful. We'd get roasted on the 1%. But here's some code. It's a little bit out of date. Oh, by the way, shout out to Kevin Frank, because we use this in conjunction with a popover. It's a modal popover. I know Kevin Frank's been on the show, I think
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of times, and puts out huge, wonderful stuff. I'm sure well, if you haven't, you should check out his stuff. We do. And shout out to him and whoever else was involved in modal popovers. So we're using them sometimes. Uh, we also here's some more tools to use macros to script the user interface. What do we do? We script the user interface to implement this feature. And that's a bit of a deep dive. And I just closed it because we've got some other things to get to. Just a little bit of an overview here today.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, all right. So you said locking. Margaret, I blame you. You said locking.
It was interesting to me. You said record lock, and record lock is an interesting topic.
Here's some of the things. Let's do something super controversial.
Oh, okay, we're really going for it. Okay, so what am I
We
looking at here?
so we use Anchor Buoy
Mm-hmm.
uh, pretty much 100% of the time because I'm not smart enough to do anything else. And there's been a conversation. Um, there's been a conversation of why. I had a conversation at DEF CON with Hansa, and he was talking about his experience refactoring for speed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to figure out why Anchor Buoy might be faster, even though you have a system with more table occurrences.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it faster? And the theory that I have, and I ran it by one of the senior engineers over at Claris.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mention names, and he was interested, and I'll leave it at that. The theory that I have, it has to do with pathways between table occurrences. So
Mm-hmm.
this diagram, which up on the screen, people can look at it later. It's a brute force calculation of the number of possible pathways as you increase the number of table occurrences, the little boxes on the relationship graph.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it scales in a way that's nonlinear, which is why I think that Anchor Buoy might And I know that, that some super talented developers are going to do it differently. I
Mm-hmm.
think that this is a good technique.
Well,
Anyway,
so what this says right here is that if I loaded on A, for example, if I loaded a layout attached to table A, I'd be loading 20 paths.
yeah, you could go instead of table occurrences go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is linear,
Mm-hmm.
and then pathways go 2, 6, 12, 20, which is nonlinear.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like to say it's similar to factorial,
Mm-hmm.
partly because I like the word factorial.
It's a nice word.
I was a mathlete in high school. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I think that's why, like a small system, you could do, unified or something else. Um, in a big system, as soon as you connect everything to everything, you invoke some sort of necessity for the FileMaker engine to traverse every possible pathway to see what's going on. But so ironically, more table occurrences by having your table occurrences in groups, whether it's a pure anchor buoy, which is what I do,
Mm-hmm.
or kind of a hybrid, which is what smarter people do. Um, just by chunking it into groups, it scales good. And then also multi-file. We do multi-file for sure,
Mm-hmm.
which has its advantages. And maybe we should go there.
Yeah,
Uh,
multi-file is also always another controversial topic since we're hitting those at the moment.
okay. So here's okay, so I'll go first. Well, actually, I can't even say that I'm going first, but I'm in the camp.
Mm-hmm.
Multi-file solutions have a lot of benefits. And I know Wim Decord has presented on this. Um, and there's been posts, and I think I've chimed in.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say people should go look at those posts. And I'll just say real briefly, multi-file solution makes windowing easier. It makes privilege management easier. I believe it's more performant, makes multi-user developer. I'm sure I'm leaving out other things. It's simpler, loads better. Anyway, it's all good. So this diagram is actually a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of a tangential topic. What I wanted to do here, I wanted to, once again, wrap my head around our strategies for deploying FileMaker solutions to customers, to a customer base, I'll say,
Mm-hmm.
which means that we want individual customers to be happy wherever they're coming from. And we also want to be efficient in
Mm-hmm.
terms of being able to produce value for customers. So let's start here. Well, actually, let's see, why do I care? And what's the big picture context? I looked
Yes.
at all the FileMaker files that I've built up over 30 years, and I divided them into different types, some of which are required and some of them are useful, but not necessarily required. So let's start with the premise that we're going to build a multi-file solution for a relatively big enterprise where
Mm-hmm.
we've been tasked with building something for a customer who says, okay, we want you to build like an enterprise level system,
Mm-hmm.
by which I mean they want everything or close to everything. They want CRM, they want orders and invoices, they want inventory, they want shipping, and they want accounting integration. They want a lot. Maybe they don't want project management, but they want a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
those would be, and then, I'm doing boxes to kind of chunk. Those would be domain, what I call domain files. So we might have an activity
Mm-hmm.
file, uh, which I call a correspondence generation. Actually, what's ironic? I didn't put CRM here. And that's obvious. That's obviously very popular. Oh, by the way, I draw your attention to version 1. See, it's version 1. I told you I don't get it right on the first go. But you might have CRM, And maybe that's a separate file because you want to make your windowing easier. You want to be able to look at a contact and an invoice at the same time. Activity would be correspondence generation, one of my favorite features. File management would be perhaps where your digital assets are managed. Podcast engine, probably not everyone needs one. I have one. Oh, people, which is, maybe that's separate from the CRM. It's more of a, so domain files. Okay. Support files, help system is incredibly useful. That's a topic in and of itself. We love help request systems. It's I think it builds business. It's if you make a mistake, it's happened. If you get a Slack notification right after something goes wrong and you can fix a bug like fast, it's better than like having a bug and not fixing it fast.
Yes.
Obviously, not having a bug would be better.
But that's not the way the world works.
It is. Data change log is really useful. Ray Culligan put something out there. Tagging is useful. A faceless logic file is useful. There's a big topic. Transactions, running things through transaction. That's advanced. Let's just keep going. Analytic files are useful. Something to process the log files, the recover log, and so forth and so on. Research files. We're going to keyboard shortcuts might come. Oh, pickers. There's a huge topic that I think there's been some people who've done some really nice picker type stuff.
What do you mean by picker?
So pick lists, like one of the topics that I see discussed a lot on community and in the form of feature requests and stuff like that. It's phrased kind of like some variant of I'm using a value list and it isn't doing what I want. And I and I wish it did this. And the answer to every single one of those questions in all 10 variants is use a pick list. And a pick list is basically it's a flyaway window that prevents a FileMaker layout, which could be a card window, which is just a layout. I shouldn't say a card window is just a layout. A card window is a layout that's awesome. But before there were card windows, you could have what do you call them? Layout windows or layout dialogues. You could call them layout list views or layout dialogues. And those are useful for calendars, for pick lists. And I think I have an image of that on one of the infographics. Time pickers. I built a time picker. I think those are like 3. I'm sure there's others. Color picker would be another one. So that's what a picker is.
I think I know what you're talking about. I once, for a customer, they wanted to be able to select multiple records and then create a library out of those records. And I assume that's what you're referring to. It'd be a pick list.
Yeah, and actually that would be the multi-pick. I got excited because we built had a customer said, I like your pick list. I like a multi-pick. And I'm like, okay. So a pick list can do a multi-pick, which is yet another thing that by the way, value lists are awesome.
Yes.
The platform is awesome. We like every feature that's shipped, and value lists are great if you're just like in a hurry and you want something done and you don't have a pick list code library.
But I mean, value lists
people
don't
have
do
put it out
everything.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they don't. Try and pick try and do a value list with a multi-pick. And people have put, let me think. Scott Love did one for FileMaker Advisor magazine. I think that was the first citing. That's evergreen content. Someone said, well, that magazine was 20 years ago. I'm like, okay, your point. It's still valid. The code still works.
Yes.
And it's still good.
Which is an impressive fact about FileMaker anyway, that you can pull code 20 years ago and it still functions just fine.
Yeah. So that's a gigantic topic. And I might come back on that. Oh, archives, chat messages. You can archive Slack messages. You can archive emails. We do that. You can archive phone calls. We do that for billing. Let's see. We do have some security. We have a security manager tool that can push accounts into originally we had a first time I built this FileMaker 9 customer, 120 files, 50 users, 6 divisions. So I had to build a custom tool that would push different accounts into 120 using the account management script steps. That's a little controversial. It's Active Directory is great. The other more recent stuff, it's also great. The ability to kind of, even if you're doing Active Directory, the ability to kind of bootstrap that. I'm not going to say too much about security on a recorded call, but native accounts are good. Active Directory is good. It's all good. Demo files available. Oh, front door files. I think it's often in a multi-file solution. It's good to have one file that is kind of the main menu. Maybe global only is good. And some other things. That's the front door file, takes you to the domain. So that's a bit of an overview of like if you're building a multi-file solution, that's just a breakdown. I'm just doing the wax on, wax off, just trying to think, wow, I'm writing a lot of code. Maybe I should think about what I'm doing from time to time, see if I can do it better.
Break down what you're actually accomplishing. Yes.
Yeah. So here's let's see. By the way, let me know if I think we're doing good on time. How long have we been going for?
We are at 44 minutes, so.
Okay. Well, you tell me what, let me just think what else I'm gonna come back on this one, treat that as a teaser. Let me go to the text editor. I just want to make sure I get this one in here.
Yes. Okay. So what is this that you accomplished on take 2?
Okay. Okay, so the same rules apply. The same 4-part rule. Would it be useful to have a text editor? Yes. What would be the use cases? I would have a notes field, and I would, be able to use the features that they gave us.
Yes.
To make more visual. Maybe I'm looking at some text and I want to bold a word. I can have better letters, and I can even build HTML using a text editor. So when I initially started this project, it started with one use case, and then as I progressed, I'm like, oh, I could do more things with this. And this is, by the way, a little bit of a scratchy playpen. So what are the functions that I have available? Functions and script steps. Let me think, is that a function or script step? These are, you use both. These are functions, and then the script steps come into play. We'll see that on the next page. By the way, this is a fun FileMaker fact. This is sort of, I mentioned earlier how the fun FileMaker facts, they're about the size of a, they fit nicely on a MailChimp email. And even if someone opens up an iPhone, if it's nice, if somebody, we did after the fun FileMaker facts presentation, I did a drip marketing campaign where once a week I would drip it up on Twitter. And that was, and the view count went up. Now here's the different functions in terms of the stylistic stuff. I had to kind of like figure out what's compatible. This is a little platform compatibility analysis. Okay, so I'm still now analyzing. Here's the colors, because I'm like, oh, here's a prototype of the user interface. So I've decided that this is a useful feature. Then I'm trying to figure out if the what the user interface might be. And I'm like, well, I really like the bold italics underscore. Strike through comes later. I don't know. It's not here. Haven't done much with the fonts. The color is useful. The ability to transform text, not just change its formatting, but transform it. Like I get uppercase, which is hard to read. I like to take it to lower or proper. That's falls in. That's not text formatting. That's text transformation. So this is a bit of a prototype, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna some colors, and then here's the functions. I'm still thinking. And then it's like, well, what are other people doing? because if I make
Always a good look.
yeah, I mean, people are like, if you build a text editor and it looks completely different than what Slack is doing, what Google Doc is doing, what Microsoft Word is doing, then I got to train people. Like, this is the way I do it.
Hmm.
Uh, this one's clever. Dare I say, custom function that transforms hex to RGB. I have no idea why I did that, but it was clever. And here's a script, prototype of a script. Uh, most of the scripts I write are very 3 yards in a cloud of dust. They're not.
Hmm.
I don't try to be clever. I try and just do very step by step. Good
Hmm.
for debugging. I could do this all in one line. It would be hard to read.
Yeah,
And
no, I write this code the same way. I make it like piece by piece by piece, because that way if I go back and go like, what was I doing? I'm like, oh, I can read this.
yeah, this would all show up in the data viewer too. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good. Um, oh, and then I'm doing RGB result, and I'd have to read this, which, it's all recorded and people could look at this. But the user interface is you select a block of text and then you do something with it. And
Hmm.
then part 4 is, with the internal tools we have, we just click a sequence of buttons so I can put this in a file super quick. 99% of the time it works. So that's the text editor. Um,
When you say
and
you click the buttons, like I'm sorry, I'm gonna be unapologetically nosy and derail you slightly. So are you saying that you write this in a different like FileMaker file and then you click the buttons and it replicates to the files that you want it to replicate to, or
yeah, I'll drop I'll show you, let me see if I have that queued up. It's basically, this is an app built in Objective-C where
hmm.
we click a button and it'll paste code into the script workplace. So we just go click, 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 click. And it's a combination. It uses the system events, and it takes XML text, it converts it into the proprietary
Hmm.
script step format, and then it pastes it. Um, some of this stuff, background for this would be the code generation presentation I did for the LA FM Disc group,
Hmm.
where I sort of explained the principle of, my take on the code
Hmm.
generation, which is this all predates the artificial intelligence, and this is controversial in a way, or
Hmm.
not even so much controversial as being discussed, different approaches. The way that we do the code generation, we're either pasting in vanilla stuff that's context free, or sometimes we're pasting in code that has an input like this context in the form of a layout name or a table name or a field name or a script name. Um, that's an advanced topic, so we maybe circle back on that. But
Yeah,
just
later conversation. Yes.
yeah, to answer your question, and I'll drop a video of I did a 11-minute video showing how we do our scripting. Used to have a product, didn't sell that many. It's very complicated because it works 99% of the time, and once again, I get roasted if it failed 1% of the time. I personally, something that if it works 99% of the time and saves me tons of time, I'll take it.
Hmm.
Um, so we have buttons for all the code objects, custom functions, click, click, click. It's just 10,000 hours of work. But other than that, it, it was easy. Uh, let's see. Um, hold on, this one, since it's up, this is not polished, but here's a FileMaker 18, I think it was, came out
Hmm.
with data file script steps. Oh, let me rephrase that. FileMaker 18 data file scripts, the ability to write to the hard drive.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So I took all of those script steps and I laid them out in a bit of a logical way, like reading and writing go together,
Hmm.
get and set go together. I made like little links, and then I started to think about how would I, and then just how do they work? Like, what is this byte, UTF byte, this, that? Um, because the goal would be, and this is a little half baked in that I didn't put the use cases here. The goal would be, what do I want to do? I want to make a folder. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if I want to make a folder, I need to combine these script steps in a clever way.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then I need to figure out how to do it, how I want to do it, that the code is like nice and readable. Like
Mm-hmm.
here's my variable names. I'm like, I want really good variable names so I can read the code. My
Mm-hmm.
customers can read the code. I'm looking to empower my customers. And so this is brainstorming. And I've written some things, but I don't have that. Sometimes I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm off to write the code. But I think that's pretty good. Um, oh, and then one more thing
Mm-hmm.
with error logging. I think this was set error logging. That's a feature that showed up in either 18 or 19. I should know. Oh, by the way, I can click these with OmniGraffle. If I made a PDF that's clickable, let me just go here, see what happens. Oh, look at that. Okay. Um, hold on, here's the feature. This must be the feature. Okay, good. Okay, so FileMaker shipped a feature in 18,
Mm-hmm.
set error logging. I looked at that and I was like, I really like that feature.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that feature. And then I was like, that looks really useful. Okay, then I got to figure out how to use it. And they give you, uh, let me count, 7, 8 columns. 7 are
Mm-hmm.
like pre-populated by Claris, and the 8th is the custom debug info. Okay, so what I did, which is I built a custom function because into that 8th column, I have the ability using this custom function, which is rather long, rather verbose, rather, it's not too little, possibly too much, to use JSON because I'm going to slam in data into a single spot. I need it to be key value pairing to be able to extract it later. But into that, my custom function has every possible get function that would show up in a script, like I don't know, the last error, the allow user abort, the script name, the script ID, and so forth and so on. And that custom function into which I can pass a script comment, like I was here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't need a line. I was like, I was here. Um, and so this is named custom debug info because it what's the word I want to use? It complements, extends, makes use of this particular awesome feature that they've shipped. So if I have a customer with an issue where I need to debug a script, I can turn on set error logging, and then I can get a log, and then I can parse it into the help request system. I can import the 7 columns they gave me. I can import the custom debug info, and then I can take what's in that field, which is a JSON object, and then I can parse that out. And then I've got everything I could possibly need, hopefully, to figure out why there was a error. So uh, to me, that's complementary, I guess. Somehow that felt like it should go on this document. So that was my deep dive into that awesome FileMaker 18 feature.
Which is actually really awesome. I hadn't thought about it in super detail. I mean, I always, mess around with things like allow user abort and things like that, but I haven't really touched error logging before. So,
I think it's underutilized. I think a lot of people out there have not, um, a lot of people out there have not um, made use of that feature. I'm not going to name names, but I go to a lot of user groups, and when it comes up, honestly, I think that there's so much um, that you can do with the FileMaker platform. It's
hmm
really hard to get to all of it. You know, I'm in the camp of like, I mean, I like more features, but I think that there's a lot of features that are underutilized.
hmm
Um, so Here, by the way, is another. This is before there was JSON. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. I've got a floating window here. You know what? I'll live with it. This one I did. This was a deep dive into before there was JSON for collections. There was lists, and obviously they're limited because they're just lists, and yet they're useful for a lot of use cases, and they're simpler than JSON. I think they're lighter weight. So one day I did a deep dive into all of the list functions.
There's a lot.
And here it is. And I laid it out, and it's like some of them do a trailing space, and I have a custom function that removes the trailing space because that was like, it's a big issue. It upsets people. It doesn't upset me. But it does do a trailing space. So I'm like, all right, I'll do a custom function to move the trailing space. So, I mean, it's another wax on, wax off. This one's too complicated to talk about. That's a wee bit half-baked. But on the custom function, on custom functions, there's this one. I'm going to close that. On the homework assignment for everybody, it's this is the custom debug that I did. Some of this might be mediocre, but error object, that's a huge topic. Escape for find, because if you do finds on if you're doing a pick list and there's funny characters, you have to escape them. I think I'm missing two of the characters you need to escape. Get script ID is it gets the script ID in a very simple way. It doesn't try and do too much. It's very precise. I think on breaking them up is good. This is the get field name table occurrence for escaping SQL. Everybody's got one of those. Here's the one I mentioned, the sort values, where you wrap the built-in sort value, and it'll trim the space if that upsets you. And it's a easy refactor because you just put the little @ sign. By the way, not everyone wants to use an @ sign for their custom functions. Not everyone has to. I was playing around with it. I kind of like it. Use Monkey Bread. You can find all your custom functions.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I like it. Some people use @ for the layouts. I think custom functions with an @ I think it's a perfectly valid approach, convention. You're not going to get the whole developer community to agree on that, but
I mean, has the community ever agreed on any convention together ever?
They've agreed on using FileMaker.
That's very true.
We'll take it. Get as URL encoded. That might be I don't know about that one. Get layout, same file. There's a little gotcha when you're doing the get layout. You want to be careful that you don't have two files with the same name open. So to protect, you just don't do get file name there. So that's the reason I put that up. By the way, very verbose code here. This probably could be one line, but I did. And I'm using tilde for lets just to be opinionated. Nice readability there.
I like verbose code, so I'm very much on your side on that one.
You know, there's also there's a side benefit of using the tilde for the let variables. One of the topics that we might get to today or next time, it's using Mac OS X services to write code. And if you do that, you can convert your custom function tildes to $signs and get a debugging effect and then convert them back. I've written custom functions where I needed to let variable, let variable, let variable, let variable. I've needed to debug. I should hold off until we're looking at that blog post. Hex to RGB is useful. Text color to hex and value index, which is the inverse of get value, I think. And value removed, trying to build up a suite of things you do with the value. I use JSON. I use lists. I use all different kinds. Anyway, that's just an overview. Some of these are worth looking at. I'll just say one more thing on this. When I was doing the text editor, to make the text buttons, I thought it would be cool if to do a text color, I could do it by passing in a hex value versus an RGB.
Mm-hmm.
Because I use the FileMaker platform uses hex elsewhere, uses it for conditional formatting, uses it other places. Oh, yeah, where else? It uses it for just coloring objects, conditional format. So if I can do RGB to hex,
Mm-hmm.
then I only have to memorize hex. And hex is easier. Like I actually know what 888 stands for.
Is that black or white?
It's kind of a gray.
Oh, okay.
Um, and I know, and I have a little cheat sheet on the monitor, but it's either a 6 or a 3 character thing. So the little hex to RGB, you can mathematically convert them back and forth. And so that's what that one is. And that one I actually use, it's in the text editor that I built, which was presented in presentation number 4. And I think I have a separate presentation on that. But anyway, it's recorded somewhere. So that's the custom functions.
Which is fantastic.
How are you and your audience doing? Does anyone have any questions, or are they saying stop?
Just rename the product to 99%. Save time 99% of the time.
Oh, and make people sign an oath that they're not going to be mean. Yeah. Well, you never know. I mean, I think someone else could make good use of it as a starting point for a product.
Mm-hmm.
The other here's a video, which I'll play like a few seconds of.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, by the way, did the audio come through on that? Just
No, I
curious.
was about to tell you the audio is you have to share
Okay.
your computer audio if you want.
Well, let's just. This is. Let me actually. I'll pivot over here. We haven't. This is a different computer. Hippity hop. So, and Margaret, these are when you asked me for links. I think I dropped all 3 of these. Let's go with something simple. Oh, actually, here we go. Here's the. All right, we did the custom functions. We did the color palette. Let's think. Oh, let's do this one. So we did say tips and tricks. We promised tips and tricks.
Mm-hmm.
So we've done new stuff. We said we're going to show some stuff never seen before. We've done that. So here is Mac OS X services to help write FileMaker code. I posted on FM Soup. I'm post all over the place. Community, FileMaker community. Where else? But here, nice interface over here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Mac OS services. It's kind of in the AppleScript category. What does that mean? It's what is it? There's an app called Automator and Macintosh, and it lets you build things with AppleScript code or Python code, all kinds of cool stuff. So what do we care about?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I tweeted in Twitter and this and that. So here's the first one that I did. I was like, okay, you can highlight some text. Service receives selected text. So I've like highlighted some text, and then I've right-clicked, and it's supported it's said, what do you want to do? And I said, hold on, I got to scroll up. I want to run this AppleScript, which was FM Gray 8 wrap, which is silly. It gets better. I was playing around, and then it'll just wrap the text. But let's get to the one I was talking about a moment ago. And then somebody said, nice idea. Pasting. Hey, Christian's here.
Yep.
And obviously he's done all kinds of clever stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's the one I was talking about. And maybe one day I'll make a video of this. But in this case, I'm sorry, I got to ask for people to visualize. Imagine you had a calculation. Let's say it's a custom function you're building.
Mm-hmm.
Or calculation, and you're using the let variables. You're using tilde for your let variables. And for the audience, the beginners out there, I call them single $sign variables because they have a single $sign. There's double $sign, which have $2 signs. And then there's let, which are internal to a let calculation. So within a calculation, I like to use the let to go 3 yards in a cloud of dust, let this equal that, boom, 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 boom. I'll take 12 lines if I had to, because I'll expose every single intermediate step. It's like, show your work. Like they said in math class, show your work. And then I have occasionally, number 7 was wrong. Hey, it didn't work. It didn't work. Why didn't it work? So I would take this, I would highlight the entire calculation, and I would say, make a double dollar sign. Then I run it, and then it all shows up in the debugger with double dollar sign. And then, oh, now it works. And then I would, okay, now let's put it back in production. Let's turn the double dollar signs back to the let, because I don't want to be spawning double dollar signs, because that would, violate the scope. That would, everything, all your variables should be within scope. So I've used that. And then, oh, look at that. This is like copy and paste. You can even, people could build this their own. And this is a fellow New Yorker, New Jersey, East Coast person, presented at Dig FM on code generation a couple months ago. I don't know if I had any closing thoughts on this, but that is worth looking at. Hold on one second. Keyboard shortcuts. We did say tips and tricks. So here's one that is near and dear to my heart. Okay, so shout out to Matt Petrowski, who I think initial idea. And I think I've got a link here. And then Daniel Wood out of Weet-Bix, New Zealand. He had an opinion. And then I, riffed on, and I just I can do this with a shell script. So here's the shell script. If you want your keyboard shortcuts to look just like mine, you can run this. And it seems to work on every single version I've tried. And then before writing that code, I needed to think about what I wanted the keyboard shortcuts to look at. So here's an infographic. And the green ones are the ones that I'm adding, the ones that are not green. And this is Macintosh platform, which is my primary development environment, although I do have the ability to develop on Windows, QuickBooks, for instance. The, if Command Shift D is open the database and is that Command Shift? Yeah, that is Command Shift L is layouts. What would be a logical one for value lists? I'm going to go with Command Shift V. Pretty clever. And then custom menus, anyway, that's all very consistent. And then these are big productivity bumps. And anyway, that's what you get if you run the custom functions, use at your own risk. Control C for conditional formatting. That's a big productivity boost. So this blog post, which is one of the 3 good blog posts, I shouldn't say good because they're all, anyway, I did 3 things that I was like, that was pretty good, Tony. And let's see if anyone said anything. I don't know if anyone said anything. I think people were happy about that. Then finally, over here for the FM soup, this is probably a bit of a deep dive topic. Fail early. The concept here is I write a lot of scripts where the concept is, well, actually, I even laid out why do I care? If I click a button that's going to run a script, I want to make sure that the conditions are auspicious. Maybe there's, I like the word auspicious too. I want to make sure, if there's a field that should have a value that the script requires, or if there's a field that, it should be empty or it should not be empty, it should have a value of 0, it should have a value of greater than 0, there should be an object that's on the layout, the plugin should be installed, the correct plugin, the correct version, the correct platform. There's a lot of different things where the script could go wrong. So those should all happen even before the dialogue. Like if you have a dialogue that said, do you want to do this? Before you even get there, there should be you can't click that button yet. Or you can, and maybe you'll conditional format it out if you really kind of have the time to write all the code that we want to write, depending on situation, budgets, every time, whatever else. So this was actually, I have to say, this is like a mediocre version. No, this is is it on the layout? and I think I did different filtered values is the correct answer, I think. I think I was playing around like, hey, what do you all think? But let's go fast forward, back and forth, back and forth. And I finally came up with this is actually pretty deep, but let's stop at this one. This is actually sort of in the experimental portion. The first version was pretty useful. And it was based on like, is this field empty? And the first version was good. The second version was better. This would be kind of a topic if we should come back on this, but eventually said, you know what? The best way to do it would be check the field reference, check the layout, check the object name, and have it custom menus. And that all should be JSON. And the JSON should be populated by a custom function. This is an idea that I'd be curious what some of the other developers out there, and I think it's advanced. Like, what do you think of the idea of using a custom function to provide the template to populate, what do you call it, JSON? Because then you have a simplified script parameter, because it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, that's building a robust JSON package. This is pretty, to my mind, this is like anyone listening says like, I have no idea what he's talking about. I would say I barely have an idea what I'm talking about here, but I do think I think it's a good idea. And then if you wanted to, like if you had a field that's required, but it's on a different layout, and you give it the layout ID, you could take it to the layout. That's all here. Or if you have a field that should be populated, you could go to the layout and then go to the object and put the cursor in that field and maybe have it visually pop because it's got a focus state. Anyway, I'm taking everyone into the weeds on that.
No, this is unfortunately like a little bit out of my wheelhouse. Like, I'm kind of getting the concept of it, but not in understanding in detail by any means. So.
Well, that's that was the advance. So let me go back and then Margaret, I'm going to ask you.
Yes.
I don't want to. I think the way you do your show, which is like the Joe Rogan show of the FileMaker community. You got a good thing going. Let me just. We covered a lot. We didn't cover everything. I'm happy to either stop or proceed.
Mostly because it's Friday, and for my this is, how do I say this? This is very interesting. I've honestly really enjoyed this discussion. This feels almost like an introduction to FileMaker philosophy, if that makes sense. Does that?
We did put a little FileMaker philosophy in there.
Yes, which has been really an interesting discussion. But people's ability to focus pretty much dies post this time slot. In my experience.
I think we've probably maxed out. We've made a nice little chunk here.
Yes, I vote that you come back.
Okay, yeah, I'll be happy to come back. We'll pick a time maybe in a number of weeks. Let's put it that way. I got, and I'll give you something easy to close on, because I feel bad about the last complexity on the last one, but it was the goal. That's something for everybody. That's
yes. No, it's important to also keep our advanced developers happy, so they don't feel like they're lacking stimulation.
Here was like I'm on the board of my condominium. Boy, that's a lot of work. This is an image. This is a demonstration of the same image at different numbers of pixels, and apparently you can downsample images quite a lot without losing image quality.
Interesting.
So I was just testing that.
I cannot discern a difference, to be honest with you.
2.6 megabytes down to 86 kilobytes. And that's
basically the same to me.
and not hard to do, with the functions that they've given us. Right?
That's really cool, actually. You can vastly reduce stuff in your containers and still have it basically look the same.
Yeah, and if you want to hold on to the super duper 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 gigantic image in case Time Magazine calls you up and asks for, or if somebody, if they want to take your image and they want to put it up on a billboard in Times Square at, 16 I don't know what would be big,
That,
whatever, really big.
yes,
Then you can
large.
drag out the thing. You just store that separately, and that way your backups will be lightweight. So, all right, let me just think of closing thoughts, and maybe there's any closing question. I don't know if anyone popped any questions into Zoom, but let's see if we can put a bow on it all. It's we did the background tour, we showed some new stuff, we put out some thoughts, a little philosophy, and appreciate the invite.
We appreciate you
It was
coming
fun.
on.
It was
No,
fun.
it's always fun. Like, so this has been, you and I don't think I've really sat down and like talked, for lack of a better word, ever. So this has been a really cool introduction. I don't really see any questions, mostly just people saying thank you. I think you've given a lot of people a lot of stuff to absorb. So,
Good. And we got through, I had 26 of these. Hold on, let me just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we got through 8 of the new stuff, which is good.
yes.
We got a lot out there. There's more things hopefully useful to people.
Thank you very much, Mr. White. Seriously, it's been fantastic. Thank you everyone for watching. Yeah, my
Okay.
mind is expanding. Thanks, Tony.
Okay, and I'm going to watch the YouTube video just to keep track of what I will move out of the haven't been talked about, have already done folder. I'll put the other 18 in a separate folder, so we're not going over that ever again. And then I'll also, well, I didn't mean it that way, but you know what I mean. It's like, and then I'll look at the YouTube if anyone pops a question in there. Oh, and closing thought, I did mention the sample files.
Yes.
I have them queued up in a correspondence generation. I didn't show them. I showed some of the code snippets there. I'm not going to show them, but if anyone wants them, I'm happy to send them from my correspondence generation. I'm not going to do anything with your email other than send you the file. If anyone wants, just TONY_white, like the color or the lack of color, depending on the medium you're working in, at twdesigns.com, and that's twdesigns with an s.com. So it's Tony_white at twdesigns.com. Just send me an email saying, hey, send me the sort demo, send me the code gen demo, send me the text editor demo.
Went ahead and copied your email around.
Okay,
so people don't have to go like, wait, hold on, type. That's what the broadcast engineer is here for. Thank you very much, sincerely. Thank you for coming on this Friday. Thank you everyone for watching. And I will see all of y'all Monday for Whimdecor and MCP adventures.
Okay, good weekend, everybody. Have fun.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.